Hi, this is Malka Leidner, and I'm doing my presentation on limited constitutional monarchy. A constitutional monarchy refers to when a state is run by a sovereign leader, usually a king or queen, who rules according to the guidelines of their constitution of their country. A limited constitutional monarchy is a constitutional monarchy whose power is limited not only by the constitution of the country, but the elected government, namely the parliament. In a limited constitutional monarchy, the monarch acts as a more symbolic feature of the government, and their duties are official, ceremonial, and civic in nature. The monarch acts as a head of state and should not have any real governmental functions. Currently, there are many countries that live under a government with some sort of limited constitutional monarchy. Some of the most famous examples include Great Britain, Spain, Sweden, and Japan. Limited constitutional monarchy still exists in many countries because it acts as a consistent feature of the country's life during times of instability, war, and crises. There are many features of a limited constitutional monarchy. In Constitutional Monarchs in Our Parliamentary Democracy, Elliot Bloomer provides some sort of roadmap for understanding limited constitutional monarchies. He highlights the common functions and roles of monarchy in a limited constitutional monarchy. They are: the monarch is usually an inherited role based on bloodline. The monarch and the family of the monarch serve in ceremonial and official roles. They have powers to elect high-ranking officials, such as ambassadors for their country. A monarch should be nonpartisan and try not to influence politics. While it is certain that the monarch and family members may have strong political views, they are supposed to appear apolitical in their very public roles. The monarch and the royal family act as emissaries for their country all over the globe, and some monarchs may perform religious roles. Many monarchs hold discretionary powers, which by constitutional law or conventional practice can be exercised at royal discretion. The discretionary powers for monarchs vary from country to country in a limited constitutional monarchy. But some of the most common discretionary powers may include the authority to nominate and dismiss the prime minister, the authority to dissolve parliament or refuse a dissolution, the authority to refuse assent to legislation, comparative to veto power of an American president, which means that the monarch can refuse to sign a bill into law, the authority to award honors, and the authority to make certain non-political appointments, such as to their personal staff. It's not hard to imagine how a monarch can choose to abuse these powers, which in itself is an act of injustice. Many of these monarchs would not use their power due to political and public backlash, but the fact that they still have these discretionary powers is problematic in itself. One of the most well-known examples of a limited constitutional monarchy is Great Britain. Currently, Queen Elizabeth is the ruling monarch. She was coronated in 1952 after the death of her father and predecessor, King George VI. Up until 2011, the crown would go to the eldest son of the current leader. In 2011, changes were made to the order of succession laws that allowed for the eldest child of the sovereign ruler to be ascended to the throne. This is an act of gender justice that corrected an ancient patriarchal law that favored sons. Here are some of the powers that the British monarch has. She is the head of the state and its 15 Commonwealth countries. The Queen and royal family act as emissaries for Great Britain, visiting countries all over the world, including the ones in their Commonwealth. The Queen and senior royal family members perform at official engagements. The Queen is entitled to weekly meetings with the Prime Minister. It is important to note that this is just a symbolic and informal update, and the Queen has no real political power to approve or disapprove policy. However, the Queen has to sign each bill into law, and the Queen can import law to sit in Parliament. The royal family is exempt from the Freedom of Information request, which could be used to protect the royal family from invasions of privacy, and it could also be wielded by the royal family to avoid scrutiny over their own actions. The monarch also has the power to form governments by putting her support behind a member of parliament. As you can imagine, these political powers given to the ruler can easily be abused. Officially, the Queen does not act without the advice of her ministers, but the fact that she has these powers could be pretty problematic. Queen Elizabeth, the acting ruler of Great Britain, has some very strange and sometimes weird powers that come with her position. Some may seem inconsequential and random, such as the Queen owns all the unmarked swans on property belonging to the royal family and parts of the River Thames. The Queen also has ownership of all sturgeons, whales, and dolphins around England and Wales. Another perk of the monarchy is that the Queen does not need a driver's license or a passport. The monarch also gets to celebrate 2 birthdays each year. The Queen does not have to pay taxes. However, she has made it a point to pay taxes since 1992. The Queen also has the power to knight individuals. Some additional powers given to the monarch of Britain that have cause for concern include the following. The monarch is immune from prosecution. No individual with such power should be free from accountability should they abuse their power. The monarch acts as the head of the Church of England. Since the monarch acts as head of state, they should not have such a public stake in religion. Additionally, the Queen holds a concerning amount of power over certain commonwealths, such as in the case of Australia. The Queen can fire members of the Australian government, and in 1975, she sent a representative to do just that. As can be expected, there were times where the royals abused their powers. Some recent examples include the Queen using her influence and power to protect her youngest son, Prince Andrew, from child rape accusations stemming from his connections with famed sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Recent articles in The Guardian also highlight how the Prince Charles and Queen have been known to abuse the power of the royal consent rule to protect their own interests, specifically their wealth. It is also important to note that a large sum of the royal family's money originates from colonialism and imperialism, endeavors in themselves that were unjust. It's also important to note the good that the British family has done. They have used their influence for social justice. Prince Harry has been known to promote mental health services. Princess Catherine has promoted research and charity for children's cancer. Princess Diana held hands with a friend with AIDS to bring awareness to the stigmatization that AIDS patients suffered. Meghan Markle highlights the issue of racism, specifically within the royal family and globally, to promote social justice for all. As we can see, limited constitutional monarchy is multi-layered and complex in nature. Some ways they promote unity and stability for their country, but have enormous power that they can abuse for their own desires.